Hey there, mathematicians. Today in group, we're going to continue talking about the difference between factors and multiples. And as we discussed during mini lesson, the factors are two numbers that are multiplied together to get a product. So a lot of times you will be asked what a factor of 32 is, and that's the product. So your job, when that's a question to you, is to figure out which two multiples are multiplied together in order to get 32. So for example here, we see 1 times 32, where 1 and 32 are factors because they can multiply together to make 32. 2 and 16 are factors because they can multiply together to make 32. And 4 and 8 are multiples because they can multiply together to make 32. And those are all of the factors for 32. 3 is not a factor because 3 cannot be multiplied by another number to get 32. And other examples are not factors because they can't be multiplied by another number to make 32. So, to think about this, you always want to think which numbers can multiply together to equal the product. Multiples are a little bit different. Multiples are the product of a given number and another factor multiplied together. So when we think about the multiples of 4, that means that we're multiplying 4 by any other factor to find a multiple. So here are a bunch of examples. We're taking that 4 factor and multiplying it by other factors to find multiples of 4. So multiples of 4 are 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36. And it could go on and on. The key thing to remember with factors and multiples is that factors have a limited amount. There's a limited amount of factors that can equal a product. But multiples can go on and on and on forever. So let's put this to practice. I want to know what you think some factors of 36 are. Go ahead and put your thinking into play pause it. All right, let's talk about this together. So remember, factors, if we go back, are two numbers that are multiplied together to find a product. So in this case, our product is 36. We want to know what numbers can multiply together to make 36. So 1 in itself is always a great place to start because 1 times 36 equals 36. So 1 and itself is always going to be a factor. Some other factors are, because I know it's an even number, 2 is going to be a factor. So 2 times 18 is 36. 3 is also a factor. 3 times 12, so 12 is a factor, is 36. 4 times 9 is a factor. 4 times 9 is 36. And 6 times 6 is 36. So 6 is a factor. Again, mathematicians put the factors in a list. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 9, 12, 18, and 36 are all factors of 36. They can be multiplied by another number to equal 36. Now, as we think about multiples, it's a little bit different. So what are some multiples, do you think, of 7? Go ahead and enter your thinking into play pause it. All right, now that you have entered your thinking, let's talk about it. Remember, multiples are when you take the factor of 7 and multiply it by another number. That gives you a multiple of 7. So we can do 7 times 1, 7 times 5, 7 times 10, 7 times 6. All of these are going to be multiples of 7. And multiples can go on and on and on and on forever to infinity. So 7 times 1 is 7, so that's one multiple of 7. 7 times 5 is 35, so that's another multiple of 7. 7 times 10 is 70, that's another multiple of 7. And 7 times 6 is 42, which is another multiple of 7. Now, you might have had some of the ideas I've written, But also, you could have had some other ones. Any number you multiply by 7 is going to be a multiple of 7. So let's go back to review together. Factors are numbers you multiply together to get a product. Multiples are when you take a given number, such as 7, like we just did, or 4 in this example, and multiply it by another number. Whatever the product is a multiple of the number you choose. So as we continue to talk about multiplication, this is going to be really important, and we need to keep that in the back of our minds moving forward, because we're going to be talking about factors and multiples as we begin to multiply even larger numbers and eventually divide. I hope that you were able to participate in this Play Pause It and you gave your best effort. Now that you're complete with group, you can click next to go on to the next part of your day.